in this space. Thank you.
Ti ura Flavell.
Kia ora tātou. Kia ora tātou e te whare. Mr Speaker, can I say from the very outset that we have advised the Minister that the Māori Party will not be supporting this piece of legislation at the first reading, and the reasons are fairly straightforward, and I'll try and elaborate on them this afternoon. Philosophically, and in terms of what we put out in our election manifesto at the last election, that is the key thrust behind our position in opposing this bill. As others have said, the purpose of the bill appears to be pretty straightforward. It will reform the way student loans are paid, reform the way borrowers can manage their loans, reform the way loans are to be administered, and it will rewrite the current student loan legislation. But what does all that mean in terms of dollars and cents? So for us, it will mean an increase. It will increase the loan establishment fee from $50 to $60. It'll establish an annual $40 inland revenue administration fee. And I suppose to put it to the House, that's for some of us maybe not too much. $50, maybe not a lot, maybe neither here nor there, but and it could be, I suppose, a bottle of Pinot Noir or perhaps a meal at Bellamy's or whatever. But for students, in a sense, it's a little bit more than that. In fact, it could be quite crucial to whether they stay in the game or not. We're talking about a down payment on maybe course textbooks, weekly bus pass maybe, and I suppose in the end it's all a matter of scale. Mr Speaker, a student loan covers course fees and or living expenses for full-time students. The central policy challenge for the Māori Party is that while we recognise and celebrate the fact that the loan scheme has clearly opened the door to tangata whenua entering tertiary education, the related issue is that they end up with a disproportionately high levels of debt. What we understand is that more Māori have a student loan debt than any other groups, although the level of debt is held is similar to other groups. Māori do, however, have the lowest post-study incomes and repay their loans more slowly than other groups. So, sir, although we accept the need to review the administration and repayment regime, we're most concerned about the impacts of these new increased fees, loans on students who are already struggling with things like rising food and rent and petrol costs. Notwithstanding the reduced compliance costs achieved by the introduction of the electronic management system, the introduction of the Inland Revenue's annual administration fee will increase the cost of a Māori student loan by $200 or so plus over a 5-year period. We consider that both the annual Inland Revenue administration fee and the loan establishment fee will have a negative impact on Māori students who have student loans. So we're absolutely committed towards a key goal of increasing accessibility to tertiary education, like others, as a front-end investment into the nation's future. And to this end, we believe that tertiary education should be freely available to all. I want to just draw on a case study from Ngā Kete Wānanga Marae at Manukau Institute of Technology. Manukau Institute of Technology serves a population base characteristically of low socioeconomic, of people of low socioeconomic status and of high unemployment, and with high percentage of Māori and Pacifica peoples. What they have reported is that the immediate pressures of Māori and Pacifica students are financial difficulties and survival within a tertiary institution. They describe the fact that a high number of Māori and Pacifica students rely on a student loan to finance study. Retention of these students is largely dependent on their financial ability to remain studying while family pressures mount. Māori and Pacifica students also tell them that they find it increasingly difficult to remain in study without additional academic, cultural and personal support. And so at their institution, Te Tarimā Tauranga Māori, the Māori Education Department at MIT, they take an active role in providing some degree of academic and cultural support within the programs they offer. Central, sir, to this support is the institution-based marae, which sits near Te Tarimā Tauranga Māori on campus. And I recall one of my kinsmen, Toby Hapi Manarikihana, was appointed as the first Matua Kai Whakahaere back in 1990. So it's great to know that it's still going strong in 2010. So I tell this story because it reflects where we want to demonstrate our support as a party in terms of helping to ensure that all people have the chance to pursue tertiary education. In line with this policy direction, we have always thought a brave and visionary government would introduce a fee reduction policy to reduce fees to a nominal level over time. Ideally, we would also want to increase access to student allowances by reintroducing at least a universal student allowance, which would be set at the level of the unemployment benefit. This is of course if we assume that increasing tertiary participation is something worthwhile of general value to the nation. Mr. Speaker, the Māori Party does believe participation in tertiary education is something that we should be actively encouraging all of our young people to consider, or not so old. I have to say we're really pleased to hear the comment from Dr. Roy Sharp, the Chief Executive of the Tertiary Education Commission, that they would assume that as the Māori population is on average younger, higher Māori participation levels in tertiary education would be desirable. The Commission has published performance indicators for the sector showing 9% of university students and 20% of those at polytechnics are Māori. In the wānanga sector, the Māori population at Te Wānanga o Raukawa and Te Wānanga o Awaruarangi is more than 90% Māori, but only 51% at Te Wānanga o Aotearoa, and there at 36,000 students of Māori. Our policy focus around student loan repayments has been one of our key platforms, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, in helping to achieve higher Māori participation levels in tertiary education. Our approach is that debt repayment should only start when you start earning 1.5 times the average wage. In the same policy, we advocate for a 5-year grace period for repayments after graduation. We are also committed to the concept that student loans will remain interest-free. This then, as you'd appreciate, was the context or the policy context with which we have responded to the government's intention to repeal the current student loan scheme legislation. This is a massive contrast between our expectations and the reality outlined in this bill. So therefore, sir, we are unable to support this bill at its first reading.
David Bennett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.